at Avara IT. I'm former Microsoft MVP, and today I will be with a co-presenter. He is a junior developer, and he will help me to hold this session. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. Today we will talk about Business Central SaaS administration. It seems like quite easy topic, and I think everybody knows how to create environments, rename, delete it, and so on. But there are a lot of underwater stones in the Business Central Admin Center. I will try to surprise you and show some tips about that you could not know. And also for more experienced users, I will show a bit information about administration processes automation with Admin Center API. Okay, this is my contact information. And let me show. Okay, let's start. I want to start with a demo, how we can find the Business Central Admin Center. So the obvious way is to click on Settings and find Admin Center here, or you can construct your own direct link. businesscentraldynamics.com, your tenant ID or domain, and after that /admin. You don't need this part, just this. The first question which you could get when you open your Business Central environment that you don't have this point here. You can't see Admin Center link. And when you try to construct this link and open it, you will see that you don't have an access to this page, to this portal. Which user can access Business Central Admin Center? We have two categories of users which can open it. It's customer users and delegated admins. Customer users. Let's imagine that I work for a customer. This is my environment, and what I need to enter Admin Center. In the Azure portal, I can find my user, MOD administrator, and let's check roles. No, groups, sorry. Roles. Which roles give you possibility to open the Admin Center? Two roles, Global Administrator and Dynamics 365 Administrator. If you are Global Admin, you can access Admin Center. But if you are Dynamics 365 professional, possibly you will not have a Global Administrator role. So your administrators could provide you Dynamics 365 Administrator role, and after that you can access Business Central Admin Center. If you are work for a partner, and your partner has a relationship with a customer from Partner Center. As a partner's employee, you also can access customers' Business Central Admin Center if you have a global administrator role in your tenant, not in customer. If you are partner's user, you cannot have a user here in customer's domain. So in partner's domain, you need to have global administrator role or help desk administrator role. These two roles gives you a possibility to open customer's admin center if you as a partner has a relationships with a customer. Okay, we opened Business Central Admin Center. Yeah, More than that, if you are a delegated admin, you don't need a license to access this Business Central Admin Center, and you even don't need a license to access the Business Central itself. So if for just a second. Yeah. To let your user access Business Central, okay, you can assign a license for the user. Yeah. Click on licenses, assign a Dynamics 365 Business Central license. It's a demo license. You will see here essential or premium licenses. You can assign them, and after that, user can access Business Central itself. Okay. Next, what you need to do when you open the Business Central Admin Center at first time. You don't need to check your environments and so on. The first thing which you can do is to click on notification recipients. Okay. Let's refresh. Click on notification recipients and add yourself as a recipient. Because you become a Business Central administrator, you need to get notifications about your environment state. Notification will be sent when update for your environment will be ready, when update was failed, delayed, and so on. All the information about environment updates you get if you add you here as a recipient. The first thing that you need to do is add your account here to receive these notifications. They are very important, and upgrade process of Business Central SaaS environments is also very important. Okay. Next thing, I jump from notifications, not to environments, but to capacity tab. Okay. And let's talk about tenants capacity. How many environments you could have here, which type, and so on. By default, you can see 80 gigabytes of free space. A bit of this space is used for my environments. Yeah, you can see that here I have one production environment and 2 sandboxes. It's demo environments, so they take a few places. Here you have capacity calculation by source. You see that default tenant gives you 80 gigabytes. I don't have purchased user licenses and additional capacity, so I have here zeros. And environments quota is 1 production environment by default and 3 sandbox environments per each production environment. So if you want to have a several production environment, you can have them, these environments of different localization, not it not must be equal to default environment. So you can have Great Britain, for example, localization and US localization in the same tenant. And if you want to have one more production environment, you need to ask your partner to buy for you environment add-on, and you will get here 2 production environments and 6 available sandboxes. Also, your total capacity will be increased by the next formula. Yep. You can see. Here is the default environment gives you 80 gigabyte. Each premium user license gives you 3 gigabytes of capacity. Each essential user license gives you 2 gigabytes of capacity. Device license, quite rare see it. So it gives you 1 gigabyte of capacity. Each extra production environment not gives you 8 gigabytes of capacity. It gives you only 4 gigabytes. So if you want to have a lot of production capacities in the same tenant, possibly you will need to add capacity add-ons to purchase capacity add-ons. Capacity add-ons exists of two types, 1 GB and 100 GB. Each of them gives the next values. So also the next tricky situation, you can copy your environments. For example, you can copy your sandbox environment, your production environments. You can see that, for example, your production environment took about 30 GB, and you decided to create a copy of production environment. Understand that the sandbox will take additional 30 GB. So you can be out of limits if you have a big sandboxes, for example, and something like that. So pay attention on your capacity and calculate it. One more moment. When you evaluate the total capacity for your company, which you need, you possibly don't know how many storage you will need in 2, in 3, in 4 years, maybe, because capacity will grow. Yep. And here is the table. Yeah, about it's a table from directions. This data was presented by Microsoft, and its terms. If your company have one of these condition, you can relate your company to the big customers. For big customers, by my opinion, better to have Business Central on-premise. It will be cheaper. But it doesn't mean that big customers cannot have Business Central SaaS. So the next conditions by which you can relate your company to the big customers. You have more than 1,000 users. You have more than 800,000 sales invoices. More than 70 millions of general ledger entries. Your database, your on-premise database, before you migrate to the cloud, is more than 400 gigabytes. Yeah, and so far and so on. You can see these numbers. Yeah, interactions. I don't know how to count users' interactions with the browser, but this is it. Web service calls also, and so on. For high loaded integrations, you can relate you to the big customers. Okay, let's turn back to the Business Central Admin Center. To save your capacity and to manage it, you can use inbuilt tools here from Admin Center. There looks like they exist in Admin Center, but in fact, it's a link to Business Central environment itself. You can see the list of your environments here, their types, countries, so on, database usage, and list of tables. If you click on list of tables, click, Business Central will be opened, production environment, and you will see a page with a list of tables and storage informations for each table. For example, from biggest to lowest. We see that for Kronos environment, for Kronos database, the biggest tables are tenant media. It's pictures for items, for clients, for contacts, and so on. Several hundreds of records, middle record size, and total data size, 4 megabytes, 3 megabytes. It's quite few, in fact. But from real practice, I can say that biggest tables are general ledger entry and value entry. But if you have integration with Dataverse, the biggest table will be, at least for my customers, it's integration record table. When you sync data with Dataverse, it creates a record, an integration record table for each record, and it's grow and grow and grow. And yeah, how to reduce the data, how to keep your data in limits. For that, Business Central has inbuilt page, which named data administration. Click on it. And from here, you can delete or compress your data. Okay, come on, work. We have several ways to keep your data in limits with this tool. Yep, related. No, don't start with related. Okay, data cleanup, the easiest way. We see almost the same structure, table name, number of records, data size, and so on. We can clean up our data. It's in fact, it is reports, standard reports, which we can run from this page, data administration, and delete, for example, expired sales quotes, sales order versions, and so on. Invoice documents, blank sales orders, a lot of data. Yeah. We, for example, delete sales orders. I'm click on it. I can click filtered sales orders and just clicking on OK, these orders will be deleted. Okay, data compression. The cool feature, I've tested it. It has compress entries tab. For example, you have a lot of GL entries, millions and millions. And this data compression tool works only if data is older than 5 years. This is quite interesting because if we count 5 years from today, it will be a year 2017, when Business Central SaaS doesn't exist. But yeah, you can have a migration from on-premise to SaaS, at least, or you can download the initial, you can upload the initial numbers, for example, from old on-premise environments to SaaS, and you will have entries older than 5 years from today. For these entries, you can click on Compress GL entries. You can choose time period, and from start to end, you can see it's even ending date is the end of 2016 even. Okay, you can check period, post and description, date compress, and then you run this data compress general ledger report. All your data for this period will be compressed into a one record with the numbers. Yeah. So, okay, it is the way to reduce your general ledger entry and other entries too. You can see that here is the tax entries and so on and so on. Yeah. And the third way to reduce your data is retention policies. You can set up a retention policy. In fact, is a job queue entry. Yeah. You can set up a retention policy for selected tables with a retention period, for example, from 6 months to 1 month, and so on. When you enable this retention policy, let's do it. It will create a job in job queue entries list. And this job will run by schedule, and this job will delete the data from selected table with a retention period you've selected. Okay, retention period, apply to all records. Just a second. Never delete. I need to set up retention policy here. Okay. It's enabled. Let me open job queue entries list. Yeah, this is a job for retention policy. It will run by schedule. Let's check every day. And it will delete the expired data. Pros and cons. Let me check. Let me show you. You see that by default, you have here only 4 retention policies. And if you click on a new, if you think that you can add here any table, you're mistaken. So you see that only 5 more tables is available to set up retention policies. And you can't add here a new table. You need to create an extension for this. I have a description of this process. I will show you in the end of the session. I'll give you links. You need to create a small extension which create for you retention policy for your selected table. In fact, you can add here any table, but with code. With administrating, you cannot add here any table. So you can you can delete old job queue log entries, report and box, sales header archive, and purchase header archived. So retention policy will help you to delete the old data. If you have some, for example, integration buffer where you receive the data from third parties, and you don't need the records older than 1 year, for example, you can set up just a retention policy and delete data from these custom tables. Do not do it manually, but retention policy will do it for you. And will save your space, will save your capacity. And this is very cool. So this is the ways how to manage your data. By the way, I remembered then one tip about delegated admin. If you are delegated admin here, partners employee, you can do in the Business Central at least 2 things. One thing is run job queues with partners account. You cannot do it, and by default you cannot run cloud migration setup. But with the page delegate admin consent for cloud migration, any customer's user can grant consent to the delegated admin, and delegated admin after that could set up the cloud migration in your Business Central. Okay, let's move further. Cloud limitation. Business Central Admin Center. Possibly you have a question, what will be if you are out of capacity? Your capacity is more than 80 gigabytes. Will your business stop? No, answer is no. The only things which you will not be able to do is to create and copy the new environments. You will not be able to do this, but your business will continue your operationals. So you only will not be able to create and copy the environments. Let's go to the environments list and talk about environments. Okay, session is expired again. Okay, here you can see that I have 3 environments, one of type production and 2 sandboxes. I can create one more sandbox environment here, but I cannot create a production environment because for that I need to ask my partner to buy me additional production environment. Yeah, you see that I have a warning. exception that I cannot have more than one production environment. What else? Application family. Interesting thing, most of you can see only Business Central here, but ISV partners can provide an own solution based on Microsoft Business Central. For example, Vafix do it, and I know a couple more of partners who create their own ISV solutions, and they will have another application family, and link to Business Central environment will be a bit different than Business Central Dynamics.com/tenant ID. So, but by default, all Microsoft standard environments has application family Business Central. Type, production or sandbox. State. You can work with your environment only when your state is active. States could be different, but most of time you will see here the state active. It could has a state upgrading, deleting, rename, and so on. But you can work with the environment only when it has state active. Country, region, your localization. You can have environments of different localization here. Even you can have W1 localization for your cloud environment, but you need to ask Microsoft support to create for you such environment. By default, W1 localization is not exist in the list of countries, regions. Current version, we will get a new 21st major update soon. First digits is a major update. Second digit is a minor update. It's a build and release. Okay, available update versions. I don't have any available updates for that. My environments were updated on this week, 2 or 3 days ago, as I remember, and all environments up to date and has the latest version. If I have available update, you will see it here, and here you can see if you scheduled update date. Okay, security group, I will explain it further. Let's go to the production environment. Here is more details about each environment. The same as we saw on the list: production, application family, country, region. You can see Azure region here, where your environment physically holds. Type. Application insights is a topic for a separate session about telemetry. Here you can set up an App Insights link from Azure, where you will get telemetry from your environment. I will not tell you about telemetry on this session because it's quite long, maybe a bit boring, but we have a lot of specialists who can tell you about telemetry and so on. Security group, very interesting point. It allows you to limit for users access to the environment. For example, you have multinational corporation which has environments of different localization in Europe and United States and so on. And you want, if you assign to a user Business Central license, by default, he can access to any Business Central environment. But you want to let for users from Europe to access only European environment, and for United States, access only their environment. How you can limit it? You can open the Azure portal. Okay. And here, go to the, where is Azure Active Directory? Okay. Open Azure Active Directory. Open groups. And here you can create a new group. Select a type security. Just fill the name, group description, it's not mandatory. Okay, click on create. Okay, refresh. Business Central Bootcamp security group. I've created a group here, and I go to a Business Central admin portal. On the security group, click on define. Seems like it's not updated. Let me refresh it. Okay. Yeah. I see BC Bootcamp security group here, and I assign it to the environment. It's a security group. Okay. The security group is assigned, and now only only administrators and users who has this security group assigned in Azure can access this environment. Other users cannot. To add this group to the users, open a user in Action. Okay. For example, Alan. Groups. Yeah. And we add membership, BC Bootcamp. Assign. BC Bootcamp. Now, Alan, if we assign to him, he has a Business Central license. He has assigned security group. And now Alan could access the Business Central production environment. And also my account, MOD administrator, also can access this environment because I'm administrator. Other users cannot access the production environment after this setup. Okay, here is URL to your environment if you forgot it. I don't like to use tenant ID. I prefer to use domain. Okay, and version management. Here we can see our application version, our platform version, available updates. I don't have available updates. Unfortunately, cannot show you this part of demo. And here I can set up my update window. Yeah. Time zone, start time, and time. Time range should be at least 6 hours. From personal experience, I'm planning environment updates to the night from Saturday to Sunday, from 0 to 6 a.m. at early morning and night. Yeah, when users will not work, because at this time environment will be unavailable and all your business operation will stop. If you not set up an update window, usually you have you see that I have here default update window. It's already created here. You can also choose choose a date for update. If you don't choose a date, you will get from default start date, you will get your update. That's why it's very important to set up notification recipients here, to set up your email here. You should know when your environment will be updated and prepare to it. For example, reschedule it if you have something to develop or to save and so on. But it's very important to get update not in business hours. Okay, let's check the actions on the top of the environments card. This is apps which you have for your environment, for each environment, only default apps, only Microsoft Publisher. If your app has update in App Source, you will get update action here. You can update your apps directly from Admin Center. Okay. Sessions, the next step. As you could remember in Business Central on-premise, you can run debugger and see the user sessions, even kill session, and so on. The same functionality for Business Central SaaS stored in environment card. And here you can also cancel selected session or even restart your environment. Two things. Okay. Database export. If you decided not to continue your activity with Business Central SaaS, you want to migrate back to the on-premise, you can create database export from this action. Important note, database export is only available for production environment. You cannot create database export for sandbox environment. Also, your databases exports limited by 10 exports per month, but I think it is enough. Update settings. Here you can also schedule updates. As on the lowest tab, you can schedule your update from these sections. Copy and copy environments. You can easily create a copy of your production environment, with into production environment. Cool functionality, very fast. You will get a copy of your production environment, but remember two things. You will get a full copy of your production environment with all integrations which you created for this production environment. By default, all your jobs will be in status on hold in the newly created sandbox environment. But you should remember about your integrations. Usually, when I create a copy of production environment, I open my custom integration setup pages and remove integrations from there. By the way, you have security for that. When you create a copy of production environment, you need to grant your environments an ability to perform HTTP calls again. By default, they will not have it. It's cool. But remember about integrations when you create a copy of production environments, especially if you have integration with Dataverse. It will be disconnected by default, but remember, if you create this integration again, all your records will be synchronized with production environment because you have link on it. Okay. Restore of environment. Very cool. By default, you have a restore window in 3 weeks, as I remember. So you can here select a date to restore with a depth of 3 weeks into the past. But the bottleneck of this restore environment functionality is that you can restore only the version you have. So let's check. I have the latest update, major update 20 and minor update 5. I've got this update 3 days ago on Wednesday. So I can restore only version 20.5. And see, I'm clicking on restore. I'm trying to choose a date to restore. And I see that I can choose the dates only from Wednesday because I had an environment upgrade on this date. I cannot restore my environment on the default depth. So I cannot choose, for example, 7th of September or 8th of September until I'll get the new major update, minor update, major update, any update. This date range will be available. I will be able to restore the environment for Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and so on, but only from 21st of September because I had an update on this date. So that's why, that's one more thing, because why environments update are very important. Because from this date, you will not be able to restore your environment. I think that you can ask Microsoft to restore your environment from the past, but it will require from you a ticket to support. By yourself, you will be able to restore your environment only from update date. Okay, close it. Environment rename. Looks easy. I can click on the environment, yeah, and rename it from production to some other environment. Looks easy and safe. Not. I want to remember you one more time about integrations. All your integrations, all your third parties has a link to your environment, and your environment name is a part of this link. When you rename your environment, all your links for integrations will be old, with old environment name, and all your integrations will be broken after you rename your environment. So please remember this, and after, if you suddenly need to rename your environment, please rename all your links for the integrations. Also, you can delete your environment. Refresh. Okay. I missed one point here. It is support. You can choose two types of support requests. Support request itself and production outage. Production outage is a hard issue. By default, we have two types of production outages. Two situations is outage. Your users cannot log on, all users, not only not like one user, only all users. And you cannot access your APIs and web services. These situations is production outage. You can report this and you will get support as soon as possible. All other situation is just support request. By default, your Business Central license, even Essential, gives you a basic support plan. So if it's not related to why I cannot post my sales order and so on, it's like real issue. For example, when you set up a connection to Dataverse, you got a strange error which you cannot explain. You cannot Google this error and so on. You can write about it to as a support request, and possibly you will get an answer. Not urgently, but you will get. If you need more support, you can buy a support plan. You will get a support plan ID. You can set it in the support request, and just you will get the updates more fast. All your reported outages collected here. Yeah, no situations at all. My sandbox Cronus environment works like a charm. Telemetry, quite useless. It's not the telemetry which you can set up in the App Insights here. This is the link to the application insights in the Azure, which you created. This is basic telemetry. You can search, okay, 500 minutes, only basic events, not interesting, not informational, and for me, this telemetry tab seems quite useless. I never use it. If I need a real telemetry, I create an application insights resource in the Azure and set up telemetry, normal telemetry for my environment with application insights. This telemetry, quite useless. And okay, the last thing I want to show you is a process automation. All these processes I just show you environment create, set up recipients, rename, delete, app installation, uninstallation, and so on, you can do with Admin Center APIs. Look at this. In situation when you are customer's user, you have only one environment, you need to create a new environment one time per month, and so on. You can operate, you can perform these operations with admin portal. But when you are partners employee and you have a lot of environments and so on, you can write scripts for this process. Check this. For example, admin center notifications, api.businesscentral.dynamics.com/admin. API versions, settings, notification recipients. I can click on send, get method. Yeah, you see that I have one recipient, it's me. We can ensure in this, clicking on notification recipients, it's me. Okay, let's delete notification recipients. For this, I need a recipient ID. I will copy it. Okay, go to delete notification recipients. Almost the same API. I just need to input here my notification recipient's ID and choose delete method. I click on send, unauthorized, authorization. It says use token. Remember that from 1st of October, your basic authentication will be not available. Please use OAuth. Okay, you see that status is 200. Okay, no data. I'm going back to my notification recipients, click on refresh. Pop. No recipients. I've deleted just now. Let's create notification recipient. Put method, the same API, body, two parameters, email and name. Authorization. Let me choose. Okay, send. Yeah, status is okay. Create it, go back, refresh. Yeah, I'm here again. This is easy sample, these notifications, environments. Get environments. The same, Business Central, environments, and so on. I will give you a description of these APIs in the end. Okay, it gives me next environments. Version 20 copy, my sandbox. Okay, production environment, and the last one, version 20/5 environment, third environment. I can delete one environment. Let's choose it, which I don't need. I think I don't need version 20 copy. I copy this name, go to delete environment API. Yeah, it's already input. Method delete, no body, and just send it. Authorized. Token is expired. Yeah, status 202 accepted. Delete is scheduled. You see the environment status scheduled. It's not the in time moment, but if you click, yeah, you see that my version 20 copy environment is removing. So I perform this action just with API. Also, the same way you can create and copy the environment. Using put method, you can create the environment. Just copy to, let it be. Here in body parameters, you set up environment type, and country code. Send. Unauthorized. Okay. Good attempt. Environment, yeah, accepted. Also scheduled status. I'm going back, refresh it. Yeah, you see that previous environment is already removed, but copy to environment is preparing. After some time, it will be available again. Okay, copy environment works the same name with I set up environment name, which I want to copy, and where I want to copy it as a sandbox and environment name and so on. And the last APIs I want to show you is environment apps. Yeah. For example, production environment. Let's get an apps for production environment. Click, send. Yeah, I see a set of apps. Yeah. For example, I want to uninstall one of these apps. I've selected, I don't remember, but okay, let's uninstall some random app. I already have app ID here, action uninstall, method post, and body parameters, uninstall dependents, and delete data. Send. Unauthorized, okay. Go back, send. Yeah, uninstalled an app, and I can install it back using the install method, and body just accept end user license agreement is method post. Come on. Okay, app is installed back. So I perform this with these APIs. Where you can get an information about APIs. They are well described in Microsoft Docs. A lot of information about it, but also information, yeah, about this. I have a book about Microsoft Dynamics Business Central and Administrating, where I described in details all the processes I've just shown you, all the actions, all the APIs. As a bonus, I have there information how to automate your processes with PowerShell scripts. It's not a topic for these sessions. I just shown you how to call the APIs with the Postman, but when you want to automate your processes, you definitely need to create a PowerShell scripts. It's all described in a book. Book is available on Amazon and PactPub. And for PactPub, I have two promo codes, one from Power Community and one personal code with a different processes. I don't know how long will be available Power Community Power code, but mine will be available till the end of the year. Okay, colleagues, thank you for having me, and I'm ready for question and answers for the last time.
Thank you so much, Andrei. Wow. So this was really, I think a lot of the attendees really gained a lot of insight here. So if we begin with the first question, which is by Sam, who's asking it, how to copy a company inside a production environment to another production environment?
You cannot copy the production environment to production environment. Usually you need, just a second. Usually I've created a sandbox environment. If you have only one production environment, yeah, you copy it firstly to the sandbox environment, delete production environment, and copy from sandbox to production back. So this is the answer.
Thank you. And I think Sajid has also mentioned you can use the rapid service configuration package to move I think what Sam was asking was moving the data, possibly moving the company data from from one to the other, I think.
And one more thing, you can upload rapid service packages through APIs. It supports them. You can deploy a rapid service package with an API. And
fantastic.
Fully automatically environment deploying.
Excellent. So is there a way to know web service key is being used in the database because of it being deprecated on the 1st of October?
Yep. I just read an information from Microsoft in Yammer channel with a sample of telemetry where you can analyze which your processes use basic authentication. So with your telemetry analysis, you can understand this.
So Sam is asking, can we migrate the SaaS tenant to on-premise?
Yep, we can export production database, and after that deploy this exported. We create an export of database into the storage account, and after that you can download the file from there and deploy it to your on-premise SQL environment.
Fantastic.
So
Lawrence,
Thomas already answered that you can use telemetry to understand.
Yeah, and he shared the link in the chat there. Fantastic. So Lawrence is asking, I had a scenario where I was able to get a backup of the SaaS but failed to restore it on premise. I would love to hear from anyone who was successful. Thank you.
Okay, it's not me. I never had a task to migrate from cloud to on-premise, but I think we can Google some information about it. I cannot help on this question.
And Lawrence, usually, I think the reason why is because usually it's the other way around. Usually, you're migrating from on-prem to the cloud. That's the general trajectory. So if you've had a problem from cloud to on-prem, yeah, there's a lot of infrastructure dependencies that can prevent, a successful deployment, lots of service keys and things like that, which I'm sure Andre is very, very familiar with. But yeah, it's about knowing exactly where it's failing. So Zishan is asking, Zishan is saying, no, you can use a token authentication for that. So Eric is asking, does automated backup require additional licensing other than D365 BC license?
No, automated backup included by default. So no, we don't have an additional license for that. But I think you need okay, no. When you want to restore environment, you don't need a license. When you want to create a copy of your database, you need to provide a storage account for that. And as I know, you cannot create a storage account before you buy an Azure license, Azure subscription. So for database export, I think you need an Azure subscription additionally. And for telemetry, of course, you also need Azure subscription.
Yeah. So if we need to fix something related to past data for data reasons, then can we ask Microsoft to restore if requested?
Okay, yeah, Microsoft provides you any export, even from the past. And even Microsoft can allow you to restore deleted environment, even production. So if you cannot restore your environment, just create a support ticket to Microsoft.
Right. So the final question is, can I duplicate a sandbox environment to a production environment?
If you have a free production environment quota, yes. If you bought an additional environment, yeah, you can duplicate it to production environment. If you have only one production environment and you already use it, you cannot create a production environment from sandbox environment.
And David's just adding a comment there. There is a process to move. It's not complicated. You can export the database from a backpack file and then implement SQL Server and the same PC version on premise. You should be able to start it right up in your new service tier. So thanks everyone for your comments. Thank you, Andre, for your such great insight there about environment management. Andre, could you please ensure you share your contact details in the chat so that the community can keep in touch with you?
Of course, yes. Thanks for having me, colleagues.
Thank you so much, Andre, for joining us today. Hopefully see you in person very soon.
Cool.
Thank you so
Hope to
much,
see you soon.
Andre. Excellent. Thank you once again. Awesome, guys.